Pioneer, legend, Prince of Darkness. The world said goodbye to Ozzy Osbourne on July 22, 2025, but the Ozzman burned through his last 12 months as if he were going to live forever. Ozzy had been living with Parkinson's disease since 2003, but in 2019, his bad health snowballed.
It's like you have a good day, and then a really bad day.
He took a nasty fall, got pneumonia, and had spinal surgery. It didn't end there either. His first surgery was botched, so Ozzy had to have several follow-up operations.
These metal plates were working their way out. The debris was rubbing on his spinal cord.
He was still able to walk, but it was clear to everyone who saw him that moving around was becoming a challenge. Black Sabbath was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2006, but in October 2024, Ozzy was inducted as a solo artist. He was seated on a throne throughout the ceremony as his importance to rock history was celebrated. Just 4 months later, his Parkinson's had progressed to the point that he could no longer walk. Ozzy was still Ozzy though, telling SiriusXM, "I have made it to 2025. I can't walk, but you know what I was thinking over the holidays? For all my complaining, I'm still alive." His mounting medical issues left Ozzy dejected, but Sharon wasn't about to let him wallow in misery. In May 2025, he told The Guardian, "Sharon could see that I was in Doomtown, and she says to me, 'I've got an idea.' It was something to give me a reason to get up in the morning."
When I get on a stage, something takes over. My spirit becomes alive.
Sharon suggested Ozzy do one last show. Billed as Back to the Beginning, the charity concert would take place in Birmingham, England, where Black Sabbath was formed decades earlier. It would be a reunion of the original Sabbath lineup. Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward would take the stage with Ozzy one last time. In addition, Sharon invited some of the artists influenced by Ozzy and Sabbath, all of them high-profile names including Anthrax, Slayer, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and Lamb of God. But much like anything having to do with Ozzy's career, there was controversy. Motley Crue pulled out because of medical issues within the band, while Sharon kicked another group off the bill for trying to make a buck off the charity gig. That band was never named, at least not yet, but there's plenty of speculation, so guess away. There was legit fear about the sort of condition Ozzy would be in for the final show. No matter how little onstage jumping and bouncing around he planned to do, it's still physically grueling to perform live in front of an audience. But Ozzy didn't leave anything up to chance.
Oh, come on, Sharon. I'm not Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness.
Prince of Darkness or not, Osbourne prepared by having a live-in physical trainer help him get into shape. He lifted weights and did specific exercises to rebuild his strength, even though he would be likely sitting down for the entire show. In addition, Ozzy worked with a vocal coach up to 4 times a week to make sure his instrument was tuned and ready to rock Villa Park. He said, "I may be sitting down, but the point is I'll be there and I'll do the best I can, so all I can do is turn up."
Rock and roll!
Oh, he did. Ozzy's final show is nothing short of legendary. He performed classics from his solo career such as Crazy Train and Mama I'm Coming Home, while he dazzled with Black Sabbath on hits like Paranoid, War Pigs, and Iron Man.
Just like witches at black masses.
According to Rolling Stone's Andy Green, there were concerns beforehand about the state of his voice in light of his health issues, but he worked hard to prep for the night and sounded incredible. That's an understatement. Back to the Beginning turned out to be a worthy send-off for the Prince of Darkness, delivering everything and more that people expected. Still, Ozzy wished he could have been more active on stage like he was in the old days, rather than sitting on his bat-inspired throne for 9 songs. In the BBC documentary Sharon and Ozzy Osbourne, Coming Home, Ozzy admitted, "The only thing that was terribly frustrating for me was I had to sit there instead of running across the stage."
That was torture. That was. I wanted to get off that thing so much.
Despite being confined to his throne for the entirety of his performance, Ozzy enjoyed the show.
What a great way to go out that gig was.
After the concert, a bunch of stories broke regarding how many tickets were sold and how much money the event made overall. Speaking to Polestar later, Sharon insisted that those stories were factually inaccurate, but she was quick to turn the conversation back to a discussion about the concert itself and how it was a fitting way for Ozzy to say goodbye to his fans. According to Sharon, there were about 40,000 concertgoers in attendance that day. From the stage, Ozzy demonstrated his deep appreciation for the fans. And when the show was done and he was wheeled off, there was a final message on stadium screens reading, "Thank you for everything. You guys are amazing. Birmingham forever." Behind the scenes, Ozzy expressed the same genuine appreciation and perhaps even a hint of bewilderment at the sheer number of people who showed up to see and celebrate him. Sharon recalled, "He turned around and he said to me that night, 'I had no idea that so many people liked me.'" In a lineup stacked with classic bands and all-time greats, English singer Youngblood stole the show and introduced himself to an older generation with a stirring rendition of Black Sabbath's Changes.
I'm going
largely metal audience might have been wondering who this young blood fellow was in the first place, his appearance at the event won them over with a heart-stopping performance. Youngblood didn't just take a wrong turn and end up at Villa Park that day, though. He struck up a friendship with Ozzy and his family years earlier. On the same day of Back to the Beginning, Youngblood had a gig in Belgium, so he made sure the day was planned out so that he could perform at both shows and not miss Ozzy's final performance. After Ozzy passed away, Youngblood appeared on the podcast Steve-O's Wild Ride and revealed the best advice he received from the Wizard of Oz, sharing, "The most beautiful thing he ever said to me was, 'Never compromise, they'll get it later.'" Ozzy spent a good part of the last year of his life writing the final chapter of his story, both figuratively and literally. While he had co-written his 2010 autobiography I Am Ozzy with Chris Ayres, this later book, titled Last Rites, also co-written with Ayres, was different. It was written from the perspective of a man who knew the end was closer than the beginning. According to Ozzy's son Jack, he'd worked on the book for 3 to 4 years, completing the last chapter just days before his death. As Jack explained in a press release about Last Rites, Ozzy's health issues forced him to take life easier than he had before. While that was against the grain of who Ozzy was as a person, it also afforded him the chance to think about his life and consider the past and his experiences. The book was released posthumously on October 7, 2025. In it, Ozzy wrote, "I used to worry more about my mortality when I was younger. It's weird. You get closer to the end, the very thing you were scared of your whole life, and suddenly the weight's lifted off you. Not that I'm ready to go, but I've had a good run. I think I made a mark on the world." But did he have regrets? Well, a few.
All I did was get out there and make a mistake of biting a head off a bat. And I tell you what, guys, it ain't fun when you get them rabies shots.
When people discuss Ozzy's craziest stunts, and there are many to pick and choose from, 2 incidents immediately come to mind. The first, and perhaps most notorious, involved Ozzy biting the head off a bat at a concert in Des Moines, Iowa in January 1982 after a fan threw the carcass onto the stage. The second occurred during a meeting with record label executives in March 1981.
We thought, all right, well, let's go in and we'll give them doves of peace. Everybody loves doves.
They brought the doves, but Ozzy got tired of listening to a public relations executive drone on, so in an attempt to shock her into silence, he grabbed a dove and bit off its head. It worked. Ozzy was thrown out of the building. Ozzy addressed both of these incidents in Last Rites, explaining that one was entirely unintentional and the other was regrettable. About the infamous bat moment, he wrote, "That was the night someone threw what I thought was a joke shop bat at the stage, and I caught it. When I bit down on its neck, I realized very quickly it wasn't made of rubber."
No! You can do it, Ozzy! Bite his freaking head off!
When it came to the dove incident, Ozzy wrote, "What happened to that bird, I'll take to my grave." The bulk of the final year of Ozzy Osbourne's life centered around putting together the Back to the Beginning show. Even before he played his last concert, though, he had one eye on what was coming next. And no, it wasn't another album or a follow-up Black Sabbath reunion. What Ozzy wanted most was to spend time with his family, especially his wife, Sharon. In the documentary Ozzy, No Escape From Now, he told Sharon, "I'm looking forward to getting this gig over, hanging my mic up, and spending some time with you. After this gig, we're free." Sharon shared the same feeling, saying, "I just want to live a life. That's all I want to do." The pair were married for 43 years. Even so, the majority of that time was spent on managing and navigating Ozzy's superstar career and their various business ventures, with hardly any time to slow down. Now, with the final show done and dusted, there was an opportunity for them to take a pause and just be a couple. Unfortunately, they didn't even get a month to enjoy their retirement, as Ozzy passed away 17 days after his final show.
When I retire, I'll hear the sound of soil going over my lid.
On July 22, 2025, Ozzy Osbourne died at the age of 76. The news sent shockwaves through the music industry and the world at large.
The thought of not being with him is just unthinkable.
In the aftermath, more information about Ozzy's last day materialized. A helicopter carrying paramedics was dispatched to Ozzy's residence on the morning of July 22nd. According to eyewitnesses and neighbors, they worried that the medical attention was for Ozzy, and they knew he was in poor health. The paramedics spent around 2 hours at the musician's home, then another hour at the nearby Harefield Hospital. According to his death certificate, Ozzy died of cardiac arrest. A week after his passing, fans swarmed Birmingham, England to pay their last respects to the Prince of Darkness before his family held a private funeral for him. Without question, Ozzy's legacy speaks for itself. He achieved success both as the frontman of Black Sabbath and as a solo artist, inspiring generations of artists to follow in his footsteps. After his death, many of his friends and contemporaries expressed what he meant to them and to music as a whole.
He was always really just Ozzy, and with no excuses.
His Sabbath bandmates shared heartfelt tributes to him on social media, with bassist Geezer Butler writing a touching tribute on Instagram reading, "Goodbye, dear friend. Thanks for all those years. We had some great fun. 4 kids from Aston. Who'd have thought, eh? So glad we got to do it one last time back in Aston. Love you." The rest of the music world reacted too, with the likes of Dolly Parton, Aerosmith, Post Malone, and Smashing Pumpkins' Billy Corgan all paying their respects.
I don't know what music would be like if it weren't for the influence of Ozzy. Ozzy changed everything.
Metallica also took the opportunity to explain what Ozzy meant to them, posting on X, "It's impossible to put into words what Ozzy Osbourne has meant to Metallica. Hero, icon, pioneer, inspiration, mentor, and most of all, friend are a few that come to mind. Ozzy and Sharon believed in us and transformed our lives and careers."